Hey everyone, what a year it has been. So much has happened, which is also the case for Nintendo, with some big releases for franchises that we love, like Fire Emblem, Pokemon and Zelda. But also some new surprises with Astral Chain, for instance. We have seen some amazing Smash DLC and even more is on the way. But there are also many new games on the horizon for next year, with ironically Animal Crossing New Horizons being one of the biggest ones. And some stuff that we have no release date for yet, with Breath of the Wild 2 as an example. Now, around this time last year I just started out doing YouTube. And with that I had the idea to make a video to predict 10 things that Nintendo would do in 2019. Let me show you what I thought was going to happen and how many predictions I had correct. Number 10. A January Direct. Well, this one sucked as the Direct was released in February. But we did have an Indie Direct in January. But let's just say that this one was wrong. Skyward Sword HD. I predicted a Zelda remake, which I thought was Skyward Sword. But no, it was Link's Awakening, so also no. All Smash DLC will be third party. You have to imagine that we only had Joker announced at that time. So we didn't know much else, but hey, it turned out to be true. Thus far at least. A new Nintendo Switch. Yep, we got the Nintendo Switch Lite, baby. Announcement for a new Zelda title. Well, I thought it would be one that was more like the handheld Zelda styles. I was still right with Breath of the Wild 2. Nintendo and other media. The theme park was already announced, as was the Mario movie, but we didn't see much else, so that one was wrong. Pikmin 4. I'm sad to say that this is a no. Super Nintendo games for Nintendo Switch Online. Yep, this one was correct. More focus on DLC. Well, we did get DLC for Fire Emblem, Cadence of Hyrule, Ultimate Alliance and Luigi's Mansion. So I guess that this is a C, which is Italian for yes. Super Mario Odyssey 2. I still believe this one will come one day and I never expected Breath of the Wild 2 to be released first. But unfortunately, no announcement on that. So, some hits, some misses, so I have to up my game here. So let me tell you everything that I think will happen in 2020. Let's go. Okay, I don't want to repeat myself with last year, so yeah, of course, we will get a Direct in January or February, but the real question is, what will we see? Well, I can give you some predictions for that. We will get our last update on Animal Crossing before release, we will get some release dates for previously announced games like Xenoblade Chronicles, and we will finally get to hear what the big Nintendo title for next year is. Because you know that we have one big game every year. The moneymaker, the system seller, the big boy. Breath of the Wild released with the launch of the Switch. Then we got Mario Odyssey as the banger for 2017, Smash as the big daddy for 2018, and in 2019 we had our Pokemon game. So this year we will need something there as well. And I think I know what that's going to be. Yes, the next prediction is that Breath of the Wild 2 will be the big title for 2020. I know when they announced that game that everyone was wondering, will it release next year? Will it release in 2030? Will it be delayed 5 times in a row again? No one knows. Well, my guesstimation is that it will fill that spot this year. First of all, it's the only thing that we know about right now that could fill that place. I mean, what else could it be? A new Mario Kart game? Deluxe is still selling incredibly well, so it will take some time before we will see 9. And I think Odyssey 2 won't release until at least next year. And Smash and Pokemon had new games way too recent. And I don't know what other game can fill that spot besides some massive new IP. So Breath of the Wild will be it in my opinion. And I would be freaking happy if that would be the case. And speaking of releases, there have been some game announced a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But we still know next to nothing about them. And one of those games will release next year. Bayonetta 3. Come on, it has to happen. Metroid Prime 4 had to start over with development, so that's not ready yet. But Bayonetta is good to go, I think. It was revealed at the end of 2017, and it often was depicted as a 2019 release, but got silently pushed away to an unknown date. So if it was supposed to be 2019, but got delayed slightly, that would mean that we get to see it in 2020. At least that would make the most sense to me. But hey, we still have Bayonetta 1 and 2 on Switch right now to keep us warm in the meantime. But I can imagine that most people have played those games by now if they had the desire to do so. Let's step away from new games for a minute and let's talk about hardware. I expect Nintendo to experiment even further next year, as we have seen that they want to do some crazy things with the Switch in recent times. with Labo, which was made for the kids, and Ring Fit Adventure this year. And even though the game got great reviews and seems to work really well, it's a bit strange to me that you have this beautiful piece of hardware for only one game. So I expect them to do some more with the Ring controller next year. And the best way to do that is to release new games. It would be a shame to use this fun piece of hardware for only one project, because there is a lot of different stuff that you can do with that. They could go for another game to keep you fit with more exercises, even crazier movements, and ways for you to get more abs. But they could also take on a completely different route with a game that focuses more on other gameplay elements, like using the ring as a shooting device, by aiming it somewhere and then shooting by grabbing it tightly. Or what about a racing game with the ring as a steering wheel? They could do a lot with this equipment. Let's just hope that they are going to use that potential. And besides that, I also see them releasing something completely new. Maybe this time around a piece of tech for teens and adults. What about a VR headset? Only this time around something sturdier than a piece of cardboard. And also a tool by which you don't have to hold it in your own hands all the time. Did you also know that some patents from Nintendo got out for some new VR tech? Next year could be the time that we will learn something more about that. I made a whole video about Nintendo and VR, and it seems that they are keen to experiment even more with this aspect of gaming. But hey, it wouldn't be the first time that they surprised us with something completely new. For them to release something unique like Labo or Ring Fit would also be a fun thing that isn't out of the question. And here's another prediction for you. Music! You know, the stuff that you hear when playing games. Besides the screaming of your dying enemies. We have seen some interesting stuff these recent months, with YouTubers that have posted Nintendo music for all of us to enjoy, receiving takedowns on their videos from Nintendo, and other companies releasing their music more and more on platforms like Apple Music to let their fans enjoy some sweet tunes. Hell, even Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle soundtrack by Grant Kirkhope can be found on Spotify. But that's under Grant's own name and not by Nintendo themselves, who do own the rights to the music. So I believe that Nintendo will streamline the sales or the streaming of their music. Maybe by cataloging it and making it available through different services under their own name. Or by releasing their own service altogether. Just like how you can listen to music through Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Which in my opinion is one of its greatest features. And as I guessed correctly, last year we indeed got the Switch Mini, or as we know it now, the Switch Lite. So would it also mean that we will get a Switch Pro, Deluxe or Extra Large? My guess, no. I think that they will save that for 2021. Next year we will see the release of both the new Xbox and the new PlayStation. But that won't happen until the holidays at the very end of that year. And believe me, Nintendo is not done with the Switch yet. There is much more to come. And the Switch and its software are still being sold plenty. So it wouldn't really be a smart move to already switch, no pun intended, to their next console. What would make sense is to release an upgraded version of the Switch to tackle another segment of your market. The Switch is already somewhat behind the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, so with their bigger, stronger next-gen brothers on the way, the Switch will fall even further behind. But by introducing a newer version to the current Switch with better graphics and processing power, they can stay ahead and keep competing with the next line of consoles. But that won't happen next year, as we will probably see that in 2021. Another thing that I guessed correctly was the introduction of SNES games to Switch Online. Yeah, I know, I'm a special boy. Now, we of course have many SNES games that still have to make their way to the console. If you want to know which ones would be the best, I would suggest watching this video of mine to see what's still missing. But just to name one is Donkey Kong Country, a classic that I really want to get my hands on. But these SNES games were released exactly 1 year after the NES library went online. So I guess that they will do the same thing next year with Nintendo 64 games. A more logical addition might be Game Boy games or Game Boy Color games, which could be the next step. But come on, to get Ocarina of Time and the classic Mario Party titles is what I want. And you can't tell me that you don't want that as well. Look, I would hope we will see some cool Game Boy games too. But 64 games on Switch is something that I have been wanting since the beginning. Majora's Mask, Mario 64, Pokemon Snap, I need that stuff on Switch. And if you think that you don't need that, then you just haven't realized it yet. Because it's going to be great. And whatever happened to retro? I mean, look at this. The games that they have made are all fantastic. But it ended with Tropical Freeze in 2014. And I know that they made an enhanced version for the Switch in 2018, but that shouldn't take 4 years. When Reggie Fils-Aimé left Nintendo, he also got this goodbye card from the people at Retro. And here in the corner you can see a character that's different from the other figures that they have developed or worked on. So people speculated that it could be a character from one of their new games. But as they now are working on Metroid Prime 4, you start to wonder what happened in the meantime. And my prediction is that things went wrong, and that we will see no new Retro game next year. I mean, we should have heard something by now if that wasn't the case. And I expect Prime 4 to release in 2021 and otherwise 2022. They will need to put all their manpower on that game, so I don't expect that they have the resources to develop a new game as well. But hey, hopefully I'm wrong and they did work on a game that will release in 2020. Only time will tell. And look, I promise not to repeat myself because many things didn't came to be that I expected last year. So it would be too easy for me to just go over the same things. And hey, as you have seen, these were 9 new predictions. But ladies and gentlemen, for my last one, I'm going to cheat as I just won it. I need it. And I'll take every single chance to talk about Pikmin 4. I mean, what's going on? What's up? I did this whole segment last year about Miyamoto and how he has been talking about Pikmin 4 every single year since Pikmin 3 released. But since the Switch is out, it has been goddamn radio silence. Am I the only one who's going mad about this? The Switch would be perfect for Pikmin. And it's a well-loved franchise that really deserves its next installment on a home console. Did all the efforts for 4 go into Hey Pikmin? That would explain a lot, but that would also be bad news for Switch owners. But no, I'll say it here, right now. Maybe no release, but at least an announcement in 2020. Please, Nintendo Lords, make it happen. So here we are, friends, 10 of my predictions that I really believe might happen in 2020. Now I really like to know, what are some of your predictions? Do you think I'm correct with my guesses? Or am I an idiot for believing that this might come true? Let me know in the comments what your predictions and wishes for Nintendo in 2020 are. And to close off, I have one more thing that is straight up a fact and not a prediction. And that is that you are an awesome, cool person if you decide to subscribe to the XPref channel. Because in 2020, there will be many more great videos on this channel which will be all about your favorite topics from Nintendo. So if you want to experience that and also want to be a great person at the same time, please subscribe to XPref to help this boy out. If you have the time, there are many more great Nintendo videos on the channel, and dropping a like on your way out is also much appreciated. And you know what the one thing is that I want for 2020 is that you will have an amazing year with many great games to play. So I want to wish you a happy 2020, and I hope that all your wildest dreams may come true.